We are live.
We are live. Chris Cooking Nashville here. Backstage with Chris. We're doing the money-saving tacos, carnivore and keto version of Carnitas tacos tonight. If you guys can hear and see me, please let me know so we know you're here. Tell us where you're watching from. Say hello in the comments. If you have a question, put Q or even better, a triple Q in front of it so Miss Ash can figure it out.
Yes. Absolutely.
All right. Hopefully we have some people that can hear us.
I'm hoping so. Let's see here.
But you never know.
You never know. You never know. We thought we had it the other day and we didn't.
Yeah.
So there you go.
It happens.
Ah, cool. Yep. It looks like it's updating on my phone.
All right.
I told you, I think, by the way, I learned that there's actually a 10-second delay when going live on YouTube. So
yes, I have heard.
Now I know.
I have heard.
But you know what? I'm going to say that we're live because I can see us at least.
All right. Well, there we go.
So we got Drew Nicest in the house.
Hello.
Says, oh man, haven't made carnitas in a minute.
These are good, man.
Carnitas are delicious.
That's right.
Jerry, Carnivore in the Middle of a Forest, is here.
Hello, Jerry. How are you?
Says, woohoo! Hey, Ash and Chris, so looking forward to this. Lately, I've been craving spicy, so this should fill the bill.
Oh, yeah. Nothing wrong with being a little spicy on carnivore every now and then.
That's right. We got Frank Nicholas in the house. Says, hello, folks.
Hello there, Frank.
We got Matt Franklin.
Hey, Matt.
He says, hiya, Chris Cooking Nashville, Ash Mel, and all the rock stars in the room.
Yeah, good to see you, buddy.
Janelle's here. Says,
hello, Janelle.
Looking forward to carnitas.
All right.
Kathy Hume says, Taco Tuesday. Woohoo!
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I didn't even think about it being Tuesday and you're making tacos.
You know, every now and then you get lucky.
Honey, you're just so smart, I tell you. Lynn's here, 22Q Cat.
Hello, Lynn.
Hi, Chris, Ash, and Mel. Tacos, yay.
Yes, indeed.
Southern Keto's here.
What's going on, Victor?
Hey now, so glad I could make it tonight. Been super busy, and I know you all have been too.
Yeah.
Everybody wish Chris a happy belated birthday.
Oh, well, thank you guys. Yeah, day before yesterday, I turned a big old 36 years old, so here we are.
Chris, by the way, is not one of those people who gets overly excited about their birthday, but tell him what you did, honey. Tell him about your birthday.
Yeah, well, so we had, my parents were in town. That's why I've been kind of out of pocket on social media for a few days, but my parents were in town. We filmed a couple of videos, one of which will be coming out this coming Saturday with my parents. And on Saturday, on my birthday, or I'm sorry, on Sunday, Saturday
was
my
your birthday.
Yeah, I don't know what day it is most of the time anymore. On Sunday, on my birthday, we went to the meat and seafood counters at Whole Foods, and we picked out a whole selection of fantastic carnivore things, and I made a bunch of really fancy little carnivore dishes for myself and my beautiful wife and my parents, and we just sat down and enjoyed some food.
It was delicious. I told
Yes.
Chris he's going to have to make some of those recipes or do live streams to show you what he did to some of these because they were so good.
Yeah, Ash didn't think she'd like it, but I got some Chilean sea bass. It was actually her favorite thing of the night. I'm going to have to show you guys how to do so.
Oh, definitely. Mary Kay Wesling's in the house.
Hi, Mary Kay.
Says, hi, Ash, Chris, Mel from Kansas City, Missouri.
Good to see you.
We got Bruce, says, howdy, folks.
Hello, Bruce.
D. Lee, Vicky Y.
Hello, D. Lee and Vicky.
Mrs. Newton Review says hello.
Hello, Mrs. Newton.
Tina says, good evening, all.
Hi, Tina.
Smoosh Moof says, yo, yo, yo.
What's going on?
Yeah. Scott Babel says, dude and dudette.
Yeah.
You've made carnivore cooking so much better. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Scott. We appreciate you being here, man.
We got Mr. Barry Weems in the house.
Hey, what's going on, Barry?
Says, hello, my carnivore hero. Good evening to both of you.
Oh, well, you're our hero.
Good evening. Lots of folks are wishing you a happy birthday, my love.
Well, thank you guys very much. Guys, if you want to wish me a happy birthday, one of the best things you can do is go down, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet, and share this with somebody who can benefit from carnivore or keto recipes. And while Miss Ash tells me if anybody has any questions, I'm going to get started on my carnivore tortillas real quick. You can see I've already got part of a batch done, but I figured I'd go ahead and show you guys how I do these because this recipe, it's funny, it did really well at the time when I released that video, but then it actually lately has gotten some steam for whatever reason, and it's going to be getting a bunch more views, but I've gotten some questions about people struggling with it a little bit, so I thought I would go through and tell you what everything in it is doing. So if you have struggled with it, or if you would like to try and you don't want to struggle with it, you'll know what to do if you're having any problems so that you can make this work. So the first thing to note is I have this beautiful Sensarte nonstick crepe pan, a really good nonstick pan of some kind helps a lot with this. This is actually linked down below, and it comes with a little crepe spreader, which makes this much, much easier. You can do this with a regular nonstick skillet and just a ladle like I do in the video. Use the ladle to spread it. This does make it a little bit easier. You need a really good spatula of some kind that has a little thin front edge. There's 100 different kinds of these on Amazon, but click my Amazon link before you go buy it. I'll get a little bit of a credit for that, which doesn't cost anything extra for you, but I appreciate you guys doing that to help support the channel. It's a free way for you to do that. And you will need some kind of a container to hold your mixture, as well as a large spoon or ladle that we can use to put this all together. Now, this is made with sour cream, eggs, beef gelatin, egg white powder, a pinch of salt, and a little bit of butter. Here's the thing, a little bit of cream too, if it's a little too thick, or that's totally optional ingredient. If it's really thin, don't add the cream. If it's real thick, add more cream. And I recommend using about a 1/4 cup, because that's what I normally end up using. But it depends on the water content of your sour cream. So if it's too thick, you add a little more cream. If it's real thin already, don't add any, or don't add as much. So you want this kind of pancake batter texture in your mixture. And so here's the deal. The sour cream is the bulk of this. The raw egg that you mix into it just kind of helps bring it all together. It's there for flavor and texture a little bit. The egg white powder is what really creates the protein structure. So one of the problems people have had is they say they can't get these to hold together to flip. If they're not holding together, you probably need more egg white powder, because there's a little too much water content for the egg white powder you used. If it seems real spongy and dry, it's too much egg white powder, okay? So your protein structure has to play back and forth based on the kind of sour cream you're using. The other thing that's in there is the beef gelatin. That keeps it flexible. But if you get too much gelatin, they get too firm and too stiff at room temperature, and they won't really flex, and then they get this kind of weird consistency, and the mixture itself will get too thick as it sits. So if it's been sitting a little bit, it starts to thicken down, you can add a little bit more cream, but if it gets real thick, you might have used a little too much gelatin. That's how those ingredients work. The butter just keeps it soft and keeps it tender and tasty. That sort of offsets that egg white powder, so we don't get that memory foam, styrofoam texture that egg white bread type products can get if we're not careful. Keeps that from happening. That's all we need to do. I have a little brush, and I have a preheated skillet. This is on 250 on my induction cooktop, which is also linked down below. 250 is somewhere in like the medium to medium low range. So you have to play with this on your stove. You want it to be hot enough that it forms a skin, but not so hot that it turns it dark brown. A little brown is okay, but like don't burn it. We don't want a dark brown. This has a little bit of lard on it. Use any animal fat you want. You don't need much. We just do a little light coating of some animal fat. You can't really even see that it's there. It's just enough to make sure these are gonna release really easily. And I'm gonna set the brush off to the side in case I need more. Because after I've made a few of these, I might find I need to re-grease my skillet. And then we're just gonna put this right in the middle. Good sized spoonful. The more you use, the bigger tortilla you make. So you just gotta figure out with your pan and the size tortillas you want, how much to use. So I've done this a bunch. That looks about right to me. And then this is, you can do this with a ladle, but it's a little bit easier with a crepe spreader. And we're just gonna spread this out into a big tortilla. Now, if you look at this and you go, hey, that's just a crepe. You're right, this is the same technique as a crepe. It does not taste like a crepe, it tastes like a tortilla. And it's gonna have a texture much more like a tortilla, but it is the same technique as making a crepe. So what we're gonna do is just kind of let that sit. This is going to form a skin on the bottom. This is why you need a really thin edge on your spatula, and I recommend finding a wide spatula. It makes it easier to do this, especially if you want to make bigger ones. After this has been on here for 20, 30 seconds or so, I'm going to very gently take the corner here and I'm going to start trying to slide underneath. And if your pan is hot enough, you will be able to slide underneath, and then you're going to go in a circle all the way around your carnivore tortilla, just like that. Try not to catch on anything, cause it to tear. And then you come in from the side in a straight line to get underneath of it and see how it breaks free and it starts to slide. And then we very quickly and gently flip it over. I put some downward pressure. And then we fry it for another 10 or 20 seconds on that side. Maybe 30 seconds, depending on how well done you want to get that other side. And now on the video that I have on YouTube for this already, on the recipe video, I did these in an oven to finish drying them out at the end to make them more like a tortilla. I've actually got a dehydrator now, which I didn't have back then, so I'm gonna use my dehydrator. So about 10 minutes in a dehydrator at 165 does a good job for me. You can do it longer, shorter, depending on the texture you want. You can do it in the oven like I did, but we just need to dry that out just to give it more of that tortilla texture and flavor. So you can see that that broke free, that was easy to flip it over. And there's a carnivore tortilla. So I'm just gonna keep making some tortillas. You guys ask me questions, let's talk, let's chat, let's hang out while I make some carnivore tortillas, and then I'm gonna show you the amazing carnitas that we have been smelling all day long.
Oh yeah.
It smells so good in this house right now, you guys don't even know.
Yeah.
We woke up this morning, because I put them in right before we went to bed last night into my slow cooker, and I'll tell you how I did that, but put it in the slow cooker last night, and we woke up this morning to the whole house smelling like carnitas.
It's like a dream.
It really is, yeah.
Yeah. We got lots of people watching. Evelyn's here. Said, hoping you have a happy and blessed birthday.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Evelyn. I certainly did.
She also says, carnivore birthday cake, question mark with a bunch of laughing faces and cake emojis. I know you've done carnivore birthday cake.
I have done carnivore birthday cake before. I did not do one this year. I thought about doing one, and I was like, I've kind of already got that video out there, and that was a small number of people that seemed interested in it in the first place. So I didn't do one this year, but that is a great option. And last year when I did that, I did like a smoked salmon and cream cheese. You could do roast beef. You could do any kind of filling that you wanted in that. It's kind of like a roll style cake. It was super good.
Marcy Nab says, I want to shout it from the rooftops that I'm so excited to be here on time tonight.
Oh, Marcy, we're so glad that you're here.
Yeah. And then I got a couple comments here from Mrs. Newton Reviews.
Yeah.
I think she's going to try to make these with you. She's really, she's real excited
All
about
right.
this.
That's what I'm talking about. This is
wants,
such a good recipe.
Oh, it is. It's awesome. It's super good. I think you probably answered a lot of her questions, but the main one is, do you remember how much exactly of everything, all the ingredients that you put into the tortillas?
Yep. So it's 1 cup of full fat sour cream, 1 egg, 2 teaspoons of beef gelatin. It is 4, and sometimes you need more, heaping teaspoons of the egg white powder. And I say heaping because I'd rather you lean a little on the heavy side, because that's going to help them hold together. So about 4 teaspoons, maybe up to 6 teaspoons of egg white powder. And again, if they're not holding together, just throw some more egg white powder in there, mix it all up again with a mixer, like an electric mixer the way that I did, and keep going. When you have enough egg white powder in there, they'll hold together just like these. It's about 2 teaspoons of melted butter. I threw in a little pinch of salt. It's optional, but it does help the flavor and kind of helps break down the egg a little bit. And a 1/4 cup of cream is about what I use, but that, again, that varies based on each person's recipe. So I would start with a couple of tablespoons and slowly go from there until you get that kind of pancake batter texture, like a thin pancake batter like I've got.
Cool. She said thank you.
You're very welcome.
I love the enthusiasm.
Yes.
Yeah. Just Susie's Thoughts is in the house.
Hi, Just Susie.
Says, hey y'all, how's everyone?
We're doing good. How are you doing?
Good. Karen Zimmer is here. Says,
hi, Karen.
Sweet. I have an Excalibur dehydrator that I never use. Now I have a use for it.
There you go. Yeah, the dehydrator honestly makes this, I think, so much easier than the oven. I mean, the oven does just as good of a job. It just takes longer in the oven. Whereas if you do it in the dehydrator, I mean, it's like at 165, if you have a decent dehydrator and you put these in just a single layer, I mean, you're talking 10 minutes probably, and they're going to be about the texture that, at least that I think that I like. So
yeah, absolutely.
Truthfully, you don't even have to dehydrate them. They're just more egg wrap textured until you dehydrate them, and then they become more like a tortilla, which has that kind of dry outside and soft inside.
Yeah. Thomas Jager actually has a really good question, because I know
Thomas.
Some people kind of have different opinions on this.
Yeah.
He wants to know, does the pan emit any harmful chemicals?
So there are about a dozen different kinds of non-stick out there. This is not the Teflon style non-stick. This is a granite style non-stick. I have heard very mixed opinions on this. So until I hear really good evidence to the fact that this type of non-stick is bad for you, I don't necessarily worry about it. I also don't use it that often, but if that's something you're concerned about, you can also take, because I've had somebody do this, it isn't gonna be harder, but you can take like a stainless steel pan and you can put a piece of parchment paper in it and you can pour the mixture on top and lay another piece of parchment paper on top, and then you use something flat to press it down into a tortilla shape, and then you flip that parchment paper over. You're not gonna get the same browning on the tortilla that I do, and it is a little bit more work, but you can absolutely do that if you're really concerned about the non-stick. That's what I would recommend doing.
Awesome. He says thank you. That's good to know.
Yep, you're very welcome.
By the way, Matt Franklin is in the chat and was asking for prayers for Sarah Joy. You know, she just had surgery.
Yep.
She also has a few job interviews coming up this week.
Yes, I saw she posted a picture that she was dressed up for an interview, and I think she said that she had one that went well, and maybe she has another interview to follow up, so we'll continue praying she finds a great job.
Absolutely. Barry Weems also has a great question.
Yeah, what's up, Barry?
What's your take on using the Egg Life wraps?
I hate Egg Life wraps with a passion. I know that people out there love them, and I think that's great. If you love them, I don't think there's anything wrong with them. I just take a bite of them and immediately I go, that tastes like a squishy egg to me. And if I want eggs, I will make eggs. If I want something that's like a wrap tortilla kind of a thing, I would rather make my own, because no offense to Egg Life wraps, I don't think they got it right. It's just my opinion. My opinion. I know Ash shares that opinion because I made them into some things for her one time because she really wanted to try it, and she hated them even more than I did. So,
yeah, I'm not a fan of those at all.
Yeah, it's just a personal taste.
It's a personal taste thing for sure. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with them. They just
They're convenient.
Work for us.
They're convenient. If I liked them, I would certainly use them because it would be more convenient than doing this all the time. But I just don't like them.
I could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure that your tortilla recipe that you're making right now would actually be cheaper too, right?
Yes, it would definitely be cheaper. That's the thing about the Egg Life wraps too. They're very expensive for how many of them you get. I mean, this being a cup of sour cream and one egg and a little bit of egg white powder and beef gelatin, I mean, you're probably somewhere around half the price of an Egg Life wrap.
Yeah, and it makes a good amount of tortillas too, depending on the size that you make. So.
Yeah, I mean, anywhere from 8 to 12 is what I get, depending on how big or small I'm making them. So.
Oh, Barry says thanks. I've never tried them myself.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, look, you may really like them if you decide you want to be brave and buy some and give them a try. I mean, they're very convenient, especially I believe Barry said he drives a truck, and to have something like that pre-made where you can just pull it out, throw some meat or something into it, and wrap it up and eat it. I mean, it's a cool thing, and I totally get why people like them. And if you like the way they taste, they're convenient and they're great if you're willing to pay for the price for them. I just don't like them personally. So
yeah, it's super interesting. Super funny. So 22Q Cat says, that's right. I don't do Egg Life wraps either. I'll just make your stuff never, ever eggy.
Yeah.
And then Debbie Savings is here, which is good to see your name, Debbie. We know your name well.
Yes.
She says she's happy to be here. She also says, I actually agree about your opinion on the Egg Life wraps. I tried them again last week, but just can't. I want to, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I know why people use them, and if you like them, I don't think there's anything wrong with you. I think it's just a difference of opinion and a difference of taste. When I eat them, the couple of times I've tried them, I just end up feeling like I'm eating squishy egg whites, and it's like, if I'm gonna make egg whites, I can make like an egg white omelet, and it could be really good, and I'd have the exact same kind of thing, except it would taste a lot better to me. When I eat the Egg Life wraps, I end up eating them going, it's egg whites, but it's also like squishier than egg whites, and it just highlights the eggy texture of like steamed, kind of cooked feeling egg whites to me. And that's just not what I'm looking for when I'm trying to do something that's like a tortilla or a wrap or something like that. For the people that like them, that's cool. I'm glad you enjoy them. I think that's great, but they're just not for me.
Yeah, I think the consensus in the comments is most people want to like them, but it's hard to.
Yeah.
Found a couple more comments about that. Let's see here. Let me find. I saw a great question a second ago. Let me find it here.
While you're looking for that question, I'm gonna go ahead and put this first rack
of
4 tortillas into the dehydrator here. It's got it running at 165. So we just slide that in there, and by the time I make the next rack, that'll probably be ready to come out.
Awesome. Yes, Deborah was the one that had a great question about your tortillas.
Okay.
Says, will the tortillas hold up in the oven with sauce like enchiladas?
Yes, absolutely they will. Excuse me. So you can bake these, you can do any kinds of things to them you want. They're not that delicate once they're dehydrated and they've kind of come to room temperature. The only thing I don't know yet, and I haven't experimented enough to know what exactly I want to do, I'm trying to figure out a way to get them dry and then be able to fry them to do like crispy sort of tacos or tortillas. I have not found a good way of doing that yet because you have to remember these are proteins, not starches. When you fry starches and they get darker and all that kind of stuff, they get this nice roasted flavor and they get crispy. When you fry proteins and they get brown, they tend to taste burnt and they start to get dry and crumbly. So it's a totally different game trying to figure out how to make a protein-based chip or crispy shell or something like that as opposed to the starch-based ones. So I'm not sure about that, but if you wanted to like wrap something up and make like enchiladas with sauce on it, these would do a great job.
Awesome. Marcy Nab just commented, yes, fry them. Marcy's with me on my
Yes.
thing. We're working towards the goal, Marcy.
Yes,
Working towards it.
we're trying to. Believe me, I'm thinking about it all the time, trying to figure out what could I do that would make this accessible for a home cook to be able to make these crispy.
Yeah, absolutely. Linda also has an amazing question.
Yeah.
Can you freeze the tortillas after making them?
Yeah, I don't know that there would be any reason you can't. I have not personally tried freezing them, but I see no reason that you couldn't freeze them. I would say if you're going to freeze them, you should freeze them and then thaw them for at least a day in the refrigerator. Don't try to thaw them at room temperature. Thaw them at a cold temperature like a refrigerator because they thaw more gently and that way they just hold together better. That should mess with the proteins a lot less. And then to serve them, you could throw them into just a low oven, like however low your oven will go. Put these on a cookie sheet, throw them in the oven and let them come up to like a warm temperature for like 10 or 15 minutes before you serve them.
Awesome.
So
Debbie Savings also says, hope you had a great birthday, Chris.
I did, Debbie. Thank you so much.
Maritza Garza's here.
Hi, Maritza.
Hope you're feeling well. Maritza says, I made the carnivore mashed potatoes so yummy.
Oh, I'm so glad you enjoyed that. I really love that recipe. It is kind of the recipe that I wouldn't call myself famous, but whatever YouTube fame I have for what I do, that's kind of where it all started, was inventing carnivore mashed potatoes. So I really enjoy that recipe. And so my mom was in that original video with me. My mom and dad were just in town. We filmed more videos, and one of them was an updated version of carnivore mashed potatoes, carnivore mashed potatoes 2.0. Basically the same recipe, but I do some things in it that make it easier and faster. And it does make it, I think, even just a little bit better. So that's going to be coming out on Saturday. We're going to have the updated carnivore mashed potatoes on Saturday for you guys, and the accessibility of the technique to make it a little bit easier and faster.
And they were good.
They were very good.
Super good.
They were very, very good.
Also, your shepherd's pie,
The shepherd's pie was wonderful.
That you used the carnivore mashed potatoes to make that shepherd's pie. Delicious.
Yes, that was a fantastic, fantastic dish.
Yes.
Even reheated, that was really good.
I actually reheated it a couple days after we filmed it, and I thought it was maybe
great.
even better. It was really good. Mrs. Newton Review says, I was just blessed with a dehydrator from my sister and have yet to use it, LOL.
There you go. This is your chance.
Absolutely. Evelyn also says, if I had a dehydrator, first up, bacon jerky.
Yeah, bacon jerky is a good one too.
Yeah,
Love
absolutely.
bacon jerky.
Let's see here. Oh, Mrs. Newton Reviews also has a great question.
Yeah.
Do you plan on making your own Facebook group?
My own Facebook group, probably not. And I'll tell you why. I love connecting with people. I love being able to interact with you guys. I already have 2 YouTube channels, an Instagram, a Facebook page of my own, my website, and I respond to, as best I can, I respond to every single comment, every email I get, every message, everything. I run all my own social media, and there are so many different places to find me and connect with me. I don't think a Facebook group would do anything that I don't already have the ability to do for people, and it would just be one more thing for me to have to moderate and monitor and answer, and it just, things like that get so difficult. You have to have other people kind of run them for you. So until I have a social media team that runs things for me, I just don't think that's probably in the cards right now. So I try to interact in other groups where I can, but I also don't get a lot of time to spend on Facebook anymore. So
Yeah.
other than responding to messages and comments, I just don't generally spend very much time on Facebook now. So
Yeah. KZ, sounds like they're maybe having a little bit of trouble with your tortilla recipe. I'm sure you can give them some advice and help.
Yep.
So they say, my tortillas always fall apart when I try to flip. Also, the middle sticks to the pan and the edges get really crispy and dry. Advice?
Yes, so if your middle is really soggy and the edges are crispy, you have more batter in the middle than you do on the edges. So the edges are thin and they're cooking too quickly, and the soft center is still squishy. Something else that's making that worse is something to do with the egg white powder. So you either don't have enough egg white powder and or you have too much water content, or potentially the egg white powder you're using maybe is got some additive that's making it act strange or do something weird. So it is a balance of the egg white powder to water ratio that is doing that to it, and the middle is definitely ending up thicker than the edges.
Yeah.
So
Thomas has another great question. Do you recommend a certain type of egg white powder?
So there's a couple that I use. The one that I have the most experience with is the Now egg white powder. So if you go on to like Amazon or whatever, you can use my link. You can go to the search box and just type in Now egg white protein. It's labeled as egg white protein powder. It's just purely 100% egg whites. That's what I have the most experience with. Now I'm also starting to use and experiment with the sportprotein.com, which should be linked in the description for you guys. That egg white powder, I have a discount code for you guys, and it brings it down to about the same price as the Now brand. You get it in bigger buckets, but I use it all the time, so I think it's really worth it if it's a thing you want to do this kind of stuff. It's great to have those bigger amounts of it because it stores really well. So one of those two would be my recommendation. So.
Awesome. And KZ and Thomas both say thank you for answering their questions.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Let's see. Michelle Murphy says, happy belated birthday, Chris.
Well, thank you, Michelle.
So happy that I caught a live show with you guys.
I'm so glad you did too.
Just got here. I can't wait to try this recipe.
Yeah, well, I'm really glad you're here. I think this is going to be a good one, especially when I show you guys what I did with the Carnitas and tell you how easy and how money saving these Carnitas really are.
KZ also is saying that they've made enchiladas with your tortillas and they were perfect.
Yeah.
And 22Q Cat Lynn says that she's frozen your tortillas and they came out just fine. So
there we go.
There we go.
There we go. Confirmation from the fans themselves.
Yeah, people have done it.
Yep.
Evelyn says, after you made your dirty rice, did you try a sushi rice yet? I made a multiple rice for bento. Love all your recipes. Thank you.
Yes, so I actually have a video from a long time ago on here for sushi rice. So if you take my white rice recipe, I have a mixture that I use to make it into sushi rice, and I actually made carnivore sushi for Ash on here. You guys can go back in my list of videos and you can find that carnivore sushi video on there.
Deborah was trying to make a suggestion when we were talking about browning the tortillas.
Yep.
She was just, guessing, throwing out a thought. Don't know if you have any thoughts on this.
Yeah.
But says maybe the tiniest bit of allulose in the batter, not enough to make it sweet, would brown it if fried, kind of the way it browns bread? Question marks, just a guess.
Yeah, it would. The thing is, getting it to brown when frying it is not the problem. It's the fact that proteins, when they brown, to get them brown enough to make them crispy, also burns them. So it's not so much the color, it's what it does to the proteins and the flavor you get. So browning them isn't an issue, it's getting them crispy without them tasting burnt. And whether you add allulose or not, it's not going to affect what the proteins do when you get them brown enough to get them crispy.
I gotcha.
So.
Cool. Good to know. Real quick, hun, I think we're caught up on questions just for a second, but I know you said carnivore mashed potatoes 2.0 coming out this Saturday.
Yep, absolutely.
What else do you have going on this week, Dave, that people may want to know about?
Yeah, so tomorrow I have a recipe taste test video that everyone was requesting. So if you have seen my carnivore noodle recipe from a few weeks ago, I have a friend that was willing to come over and do a taste test, a blind taste test of pasta. She had absolutely no idea what she was tasting or what she was doing. I just told her that she was doing a blind taste test for me. That's all I told her ahead of time. She came over and she did a taste test of my pasta compared to a couple different kinds of store-bought pasta, like the boxed kind, as well as pasta that I hand-made, because don't anybody freak out, I keep a little flour around because I cook for other people sometimes.
Oh boy.
I know, I'm a rebel. And when I cook for other people, sometimes I use some flour because, you know, if they're not on a proper human diet, it's not my job to tell them what they can and cannot eat. And so if I cook for other people and I use that from time to time, I keep that around. So I used a little bit of that and I made handmade pasta like any Italian grandma would. And I gave her 4 options, and it was pretty interesting the way that taste test came out. So that's going to be coming out tomorrow. And on Thursday, we have a recipe coming out, a little surprise recipe using a tasty air fryer, which is a smart air fryer that can actually track, has a built-in probe, and it tracks the internal temperature of the food you're air frying. So if you're like not super confident with your abilities with an air fryer, it makes it so much easier. And it was really cool. So I did a product review of that for you guys. There's a discount code with that, and I did chicken lollipops using chicken drumsticks. So it's extremely budget friendly, it's very easy to do, and I did this really incredible Asian sort of based keto mayo type sauce that I did over top of it as well. And I mean, it was unbelievable. How good were those?
Oh, they were delicious. Like some of the best chicken drumsticks I've ever had.
Yeah, they were incredible.
And I've had a lot of chicken drumsticks, okay?
Yeah.
So yeah, they were
Yeah,
awesome.
I believe in the video you even said something to the effect of, this is my favorite sauce you've ever put on a chicken drumstick.
Oh, hands down. Yeah.
So,
super good.
yeah, so that's coming out on Thursday. A little bit of a note about the Studios channel for you guys. We are going to try to do more intentional work to do really good research-based health videos on the Studios channel. So we still do our Monday motivational live streams every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Please come over to the Studios channel and hang out with us there. And then we're going to be doing these educational videos, but we probably won't be getting to one every single week because they just take more time to research, to edit, and to film and, you know, do all that stuff. And I want to make sure if we're giving you guys videos that they're actually decent and that they're good information and they're things that are useful to you. So rather than trying to force out a video every single week that may or may not be of any quality, Ash and I are going to take the time, we're going to do some research, and we're going to make sure the videos we put out on the Studios channel are better quality and great information that's useful to you. So they might take us a little bit longer, maybe 2, 3, 4 weeks at a time. So we will still be doing the live streams. We may pop in for other random videos, you just never know. But the health videos that we're coming out once a week, you may see those just a little less frequently, but ideally they'll be much better quality for you. So
yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yep.
I think you guys will really enjoy it too. We already have the scripts and plans. We were working on that earlier today for...
Yep, we were talking about different ideas and things we're going to
Yeah.
do for our first couple videos and starting to do the research for it and the whole thing. So
Cool.
yep. Also, guys, I have to say a huge shout out to Patreon members, to YouTube members, to everyone in the band. If you guys don't know what the band is all the people that have joined my YouTube or my Patreon groups. The links are going to be down below for that if you would like to join. That's how we've afforded to do this, because of some donations from Patreon members and some money that we had saved and all this kind of stuff. My new editing computer just arrived today, my video editing computer, which is going to let me do some better things with the videos for you guys, and it's going to make it easier. And we're very excited about the new things I'm going to be able to do, and that is all thanks to the support of some amazing, wonderful people in the community. And through the Buy Me a Coffee link, or the Patreon group, or the YouTube memberships, or any of these things is how we have been able to afford to continue to do these recipes for you, and how we can afford to go ahead and upgrade the computer so that I can do some better things for you guys. So that's going to be really amazing. The computer I was using is also now going to become Ash's computer. so that when we do the Ash Wednesdays every Wednesday over on her YouTube channel, which you guys should totally tune into and listen to some country music with us, when she's doing that kind of stuff and when she's doing some other things with her social media and her things, that's all going to be better as well because she's going to have a computer to use now instead of trying to do it on her iPhone. So we're just very much grateful and very indebted to all the wonderful people in the community that have made this a reality for us. And that computer showing up today was a big step in a huge right direction.
Yeah.
So thank you to the band. You guys are our family. We love you very much.
Absolutely. If I can add on that,
Yeah.
give people a little behind the scenes,
Of
glimpse
course.
of why you are so excited about that showing up.
Yeah, of course.
I don't think people realize, for starters, like how long it takes for us to film a video, any video
Right.
that you see,
Right.
especially a recipe video though, where
Yeah.
there's so many steps.
Any recipe video is 3 to 7 hours of filming.
3 to 7 hours
just
of filming. Sometimes we have to break it up over the course of a couple of days. It's a thing. And then when it comes to the editing portion, Chris sometimes will spend anywhere for even just like a simple 5-minute video. That could take him like 3 or 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, the videos that you guys see, I mean, it will take him at least a couple of days usually to like edit a video alone, much less
Right.
film it. So he puts a lot of time and effort into it. So we appreciate people like in the band and the Patreon, because with that new computer, it's going to allow him to do it a little bit faster maybe, and it's going to help the quality of the videos, which we really care about because we're trying to give back.
Yeah.
But just a little behind the scenes, because I don't think people realize that you basically just sit and edit pretty much all day.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
A lot of days that's what it feels like. I mean, like we were up there editing. So Ash has a music video that she's going to be releasing here in the hopefully near future. But we filmed and edited a music video, and I'm still working on that. How many hours we were working on that today?
We've worked on it for about 6 hours today alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is the 3rd or 4th day I've worked on that one. That's a way more intense process. For a 3.5-minute video, that's going to be probably 50 to 75 hours of editing work.
Yeah. But we love it and we're happy to do it.
Absolutely.
Joan E says, "Happy birthday, Chris. Thanks for sharing your time with us."
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your life and your time with me, because I can't do this without you guys being here. So,
Michelle Murphy wants to know, what is the best to join, the band or your Patreon?
so the YouTube memberships are there because they're really accessible for people. But if I had my druthers, it would be the Patreon group, because Patreon takes a smaller cut than YouTube does. So if you want as much of your donation and support money to go towards me doing videos and recipes and all of those kinds of things, Patreon is where I get the most amount. So, and there's also multiple options there. There's the $5 option, but there's also other options above that. Or, you know, if you don't care about any of the extra recipes or behind the scenes stuff that I'm doing for the Patreon and YouTube members that are $5 and up on Patreon, you can also just throw me $1 a month, and it's just a little bit of a nice little, hey, thanks, you know, and it doesn't really impact you guys too awful much to do so, I hope. Not to mention, we're at 98,000 plus subscribers. Can you guys imagine if I got even 20% of my subscriber list to just give me $1 a month? Like, I'd be able to do so much more for you guys. So it's an option just for people who want to just throw a little something our way to help support what we're doing. That's there as well on Patreon. So Patreon just has more options for you.
Cool.
Yeah.
Barry Weem says, yes, everyone needs to come join the Monday Motivational live streams. They are so awesome.
Yes, Barry is usually in there with us when he's not out running around doing the stuff he's got to do, taking care of business. And
That's right.
he is super awesome and just interactive with me there. Lynn is always there. Janelle is usually there. There's a whole bunch of people that are there regularly, and just appreciate you guys so much.
We got lots of cool people here.
Yeah, well, we have a really good time on Mondays. You know, it's the whole point is just let's get motivated and let's get ourselves set right for the week. And we talk about what the week is going to hold and what we're going to do to be successful. It's really cool.
Yeah. Michelle Murphy says, cool. We'll join the Patreon. Love you guys.
Oh, Michelle, thank you so much. We are going to be very happy to have you there.
Yes. Deborah says, I'm with the band through YouTube. Can I change to Patreon?
Yeah, absolutely. All you got to do is just cancel your YouTube membership and just go down to any of my videos. The Patreon is linked down there, and click on that and you can join there. You'll get all the exact same stuff as the $5 YouTube members do if you join the $5 Patreon member level, and I just get to keep a little bit more of the money. So
There you go.
That's really the only difference, and I appreciate that very much.
So we're done with our tortillas.
We're done with our tortillas. So I've got a few little things here. I'm going to make some homemade guacamole because my beautiful wife is... Okay, now here's something we got to talk about. Okay. Sometimes people comment on my channel and they go, I thought you were carnivore. I thought you were this. I thought you were that. Here's the deal, guys. I don't get hung up on labels. Most of the time, 98, 99% of the time, I'm eating carnivore food. Sometimes I enjoy keto food. And on a very rare occasion, I have things that are not keto or carnivore because I know for myself personally in my personal health journey, I can do that without any super serious negative effects. And as someone who comes from a really severe carbohydrate addiction and binge eating, I know the difference between when I'm having something because I'm choosing to or when I'm having something because I'm giving into an addiction. It's a completely different thing. Now, I'm not recommending anybody else do that. I'm just saying that's what I do because it works for me, and I keep that very rare. Now, that being said, sometimes we like some keto things, which means we might have things like guacamole, because guacamole is very keto if you don't put anything weird in it. So I'm gonna make some guacamole for my beautiful wife, and I might even throw a little bit on my taco. So, you know.
Whoa.
Yeah. And when I made the carnitas tonight, I put a little bit of onion and some poblano peppers in it because it's very minute. So if you're super strict carnivore and you can't do that, totally fine. I totally get that. That just means you leave out any of the veggie content or if there's certain seasonings or whatever. This whole thing is all about customizing. I don't do recipe cards for my my live stream recipes, and I have people from time to time that say, hey, I went to your site and I couldn't find the recipe card for this thing you did on the live stream. And it's like, that's because my live streams aren't recipes, they're techniques and they're concepts. Because I want to teach you guys to cook sort of instinctually, which is the way I cook. And it's not that you have to do it all the time. Recipes can be very useful. But recipes can also be very much a prison that enslaves you to only cooking one way unless you can find another recipe. And I don't want you guys to be like that. I want you to be able to think on your feet and be successful in the kitchen because you can cook and not necessarily have to have a specific recipe to follow every single time. So I teach concepts and basic things. So if you have something that you're like, hey, I can't have that seasoning, I'm too sensitive to this, or I'm more strict carnivore than what Chris just did, great, leave out the stuff that I'm using that you don't want. That's the way it works. So I'm gonna make some guacamole. So if you're a strict, crazy, dogmatic carnivore that says, I came here because it says carnivore, okay, well then don't eat the guacamole and it's carnivore. And don't put the things like the onions and the poblanos and the carnitas, and guess what? They're carnivore. So very straightforward. So that's a couple of cloves of garlic, a couple of pinches of salt into a mortar and pestle. This is my favorite way to make guacamole. It is done by hand. I know you can do it faster in a food processor, but this is a better process. So I just chopped up a couple of garlic cloves and I put the salt in there. The salt is gonna help break that down. And we're just basically gonna pound this a little bit. And then I'm gonna smash it all up into like a garlic paste, and that salt helps to break those cell walls down, releases all the garlic flavor, gets all that going, and that's fantastic. Now normally I would like to add fresh cilantro. Unfortunately I don't have any fresh, I've only got some dried cilantro, so I'm going to put in some dried cilantro as well.
And it smells like heaven, y'all.
Already smells great, doesn't it? Okay, so I'm going to put the dried cilantro in there and just kind of help grind that down so we get as much flavor out of the dry cilantro as possible. Okay, now we're going to cut open our avocados. And if you guys have never done this, or maybe you have done this and you're just not doing it the way I'm doing it, let me show you a safe way of doing this. So you're going to take this very carefully. Now, you're pushing down towards your hand here, so be careful. Don't push real hard. We're going to put it right in the center, slide just until it breaks through the skin. Like that, you're going to feel it hit the seed. Now, instead of pushing the knife, use your left hand or whichever hand it is holding the avocado. Turn the avocado, pull the knife. Turn, pull. Very carefully all the way around until you break all the way through. Pull the knife away. Take the avocado, twist the two halves this way. Open it up. Here's your seed. Now, if you're confident enough to hold on to it like I am, great. If not, set it down on the board and do it this way. But all you're going to do is take your knife and you chop right into the pit right there, see? Right down into the pit. And then you twist sideways, just like that, twist the pit out, and then don't grab the pit on this side because it's slippery. This is the dull side of the knife right here. Turn the knife over and come from this side and push the avocado pit forward with your thumb. No cutting yourself when you cut open an avocado.
So you can have delicious guacamole and keep all of your fingers.
Absolutely, and I like having both.
Yeah.
I like avocados, but I also really value my fingers, especially as a guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just be careful when you're opening avocados. Don't want anybody out there getting hurt.
Love it.
See? Chop, twist. Make sure you get a nice ripe avocado that is just starting to get a little soft. And you're gonna be good to go.
Cool.
Okay, so I'm just gonna grab a big old spoon. I'm gonna scoop this out into my pestle and mortar. Anybody have any questions or commentary before we dive in any further?
We got some. I'll read you a couple here while you're scooping those in.
Absolutely.
For starters, Thomas says, thank you for all you do. I just found you recently because of your pizza.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here, Thomas. And man, that pizza is a great recipe, man. I love that. I haven't done that in a long time. I need to do it again.
Yeah. Oh, man, your pizza is bomb,
Yeah,
too.
we have some
So
friends
good.
that eat keto and carnivore, and they're trying to get, more recipe ideas and different things. They've come over here for dinner with us a couple of times. We like to hang out with them and their daughter. And they come over, and the first time they came over, the pizza is what they wanted me to make, so.
That's awesome. Judgmental Lizard says, thanks for the noodles. New food processor on the way.
Yeah, there you go. You know, that's the thing. Like, I know a food processor is kind of an expensive purchase, but it makes a huge difference to have one in your kitchen. Just not for just that, for a lot of things. It's a really great tool. There's certain things you can get away with inexpensive, and then there's others. It's best to just invest in a good one. Food processor is best to invest in a good one.
Yeah, and lots of people, by the way, are saying to hit the thumbs up.
Yes.
Give this video a like.
Yes, please hit the thumbs up button. That lets YouTube know that this is a good video. And if you don't think this is a good video, then hit the thumbs up and question your life. I'm totally kidding. I'm totally kidding. Don't anybody get upset.
Wow, you got jokes, babe. You got
Yeah,
jokes.
that's right. I'm gonna pull these other two tortillas out, and
Okay.
I'll show you guys how we smash up our guacamole.
Smash it. Do you have time for one more comment real quick?
Absolutely.
I just think you're going to enjoy this one. It's always good to hear this. So Adam says, hey from Australia.
Hello, Adam.
He says, newish keto / carnivore.
Okay.
Loving this lifestyle.
Yeah.
Your recipes are freaking awesome. Keep up the awesome content.
Oh, well, Adam, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I do the best I can, but it's people like you that are the reason we do it. So thank you so much for being here. I know this made a huge difference for me to have these recipes when I was trying to stabilize on this lifestyle, and I hope it does the same thing for you.
Heck yeah.
All right, so that's another good-sized pinch of salt in there. I have some diced up pickled jalapeno. You could use fresh. I just happen to have pickled instead of the fresh today. And it's, I don't know, it's a couple of tablespoons of it probably. And this is probably about 3 to 4 tablespoons of diced red onion.
Oh, this is going to be good.
Oh yeah, this is going to be very good. Now, if you like tomato in your guacamole, cut up and dice up some tomato in your guacamole. If you don't, or if you can't eat tomatoes because you're avoiding the nightshades or whatever your reasoning is for not having tomatoes, don't add tomatoes. See that? Customize.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay, so we just very kind of gently push that around. You don't have to get it like super smashed, but you want it to be combined in fairly well. I don't like huge chunks. I like some chunks, but not massive chunks. Now, once I've gotten that partially smashed, you add some lemon juice or lime juice. Lime juice is more traditional, but lemon also works. I'm going to add just like a tablespoon or so. That keeps it from going brown as quickly, helps preserve it, and it's a nice bright flavor to have that tart fruitiness added in there. Okay, so I'm just going to stir that around a little bit, and really the only reason for doing that is because it's going to help clean off my pestle here. I'm going to take a big old spoon that I use to scrape out the avocado and scrape that all down. Don't lose any of that. You don't want to lose any of that good guacamole. If I threw away some guacamole like that because I didn't take the time to scrape off the accoutrements, my wife would not be happy with me.
That's right. Guacamole is awesome.
She's like, what are you doing with my guacamole going down the drain?
That's right.
Okay, and then we're just going to scrape the sides of the bowl here and just can mix this together. It's going to get all of that last leftover bits of garlic. And we're just going to mix that all together to get that lemon juice or lime juice, whatever you're using, all mixed through. Okay, and now this is completely up to you, but I always like to add just a little bit of black pepper. I just enjoy the flavor in there. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. Some fresh ground black pepper is always really nice in there. Ash and I both really love black pepper.
Big time.
Stir that through. All right, we're just about ready to start plating up because the carnitas are basically done.
Awesome.
I'm just going to show them to you guys and tell you what I did to them. And we can start putting together tacos.
That makes me happy.
Yeah, tacos always make Ash happy.
Always.
Okay, now before I go any further though, I'm going to need a taste test here.
Yeah, hold on. Expert opinion. Here we go. Oh. I approve this message.
Yeah, you need any more salt or anything in that?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think it's good. It's great.
That onion in there. Oh.
That's the thing, the onion, you don't have to use it, but it's a nice, fresh, sort of almost slightly spicy because the red onion being kind of sweet but spicy. Kind of all that put together. It's really, really nice.
Oh, that is delicious.
That was great. Okay, I'm gonna pull my slow cooker over here so you guys can see this because there's a lot of it. All right, so I'm gonna tell you what I did here. So I went to the grocery store and they had a pork butt on Manager Special. Now, pork butt is already not usually very expensive per pound. It's considered a cheaper cut. This was even cheaper. So I got all of this for like $10, $11. All I did was cut all of the meat off of the shoulder bone. Okay, because a pork butt has a big old shoulder bone in it, so it's what it is a shoulder. I just cut that off into cubes, and the cubes were probably like, you know, maybe a little smaller than, a little bigger than a golf ball, but smaller than a baseball. Somewhere in between. It didn't really measure, it doesn't matter. Cut them into cubes, put that all in here. And before we went to bed, I turned the slow cooker on low, and I put in 1 onion that I had sliced up, and I put in, I had like, maybe 4 poblano peppers that I had used a flame torch to just blacken them on the outside, and then I removed the seeds from the inside, chopped those up, put those in here. I've got this all listed down below in the description for you guys, by the way. It's the closest thing I get to a recipe on a live stream, so I figured I better go ahead and add that in there for you. So I have my seasonings listed down there, but it's like garlic and cumin and onion and the poblano pepper and some black pepper, and I put in 1 tomatillo, okay, and that was just all blended up, and I fire roasted that with my torch as well. Cut all of the meat off of the bone, put it all in there, put that stuff on top. See, there's that big old shoulder bone. Everything is perfectly cleaned off of that. I put the shoulder bone in there to let all the minerals cook out of that bone over the last like 20 plus hours, right? So I put all of that in there, I stuck the lid on, turned it on low, and I went to bed. And when I woke up this morning, I had carnitas. So it's extremely cheap because pork shoulder is just very inexpensive. It's also extremely easy, and it happens while you sleep if you have a slow cooker. And there's no specific recipe. You just put in enough salt that it's going to taste good to you. Put in whatever seasonings you want. I listed the ones I use down below. You can put in the onions if you want. Don't put the onions in. Put in the poblanos. Don't put in the poblanos. I fire roast the poblanos just to get that kind of black and charred flavor on the skin. So when you put that in there, you get a little subtle hint of that as well. And I used a little cayenne pepper because I wanted it to be a little spicier. That's it. That's all I did. And here we have these amazing pork carnitas. And if they won't shred up like these did, like I didn't do anything to these. These just are falling apart all on their own. You can just see how juicy and soft all of this pork meat is. If it doesn't shred like this, it needs to cook longer. That's why I do it overnight, because if you cut it up in chunks and do it overnight, you're pretty much guaranteed it's gonna be nice and soft like this by the next morning. So, and that's it. That's our carnitas. There's nothing harder about it than that. Now, if you have a grill, my dad does this thing where he takes the pork shoulder and he puts it on the grill over like a low heat, you know, with the coals off to the side, and he actually gets kind of a smoke flavor on the outside of the carnitas and then cooks it however it is. You don't want to do it in the oven, you want to do it in a slow cook or whatever, and you get a smoky char flavor on it. You can totally do that. I did not have the ability to fire up the grill because 1, I was busy with birthday stuff, and 2, it was raining yesterday. So I did not want to go stand out in the rain just to put some smoke flavor on my carnitas, but you could totally do that. So that's my carnitas. And we have our taco shells. So we're gonna grab a plate.
Michelle Murphy says, me drooling.
Yes, we're drooling as well.
Yeah, Matt Franklin says, I'll take the slow cooker and a fork. That would be dinner for me.
That's right. You can totally do that too. You can just eat these just as they are, all good. Now, there's many different ways of doing this. So here's just what I'm gonna do. Because I know how my wife likes this kind of stuff. Okay, so that is a carnivore tortilla shell. And I'm gonna put some guacamole right there. You can see how there's a little bit of chunkiness to it, but it's still smooth enough to kind of spread. That's sort of how we tend to like it. Leave it chunkier, make it smaller, whatever, you know, whatever you want to do. And then we're going to take some carnitas, dripping with juice, because if you're not wearing your taco, it's not a taco.
That's right.
As I have been told by the Bakersfield girl who grew up eating tacos from people who didn't speak English. Okay.
It's looking good. Looking good.
Carnitas. Now, I only have some pre-shredded cheese, so again, don't yell at me. I know it has cellulose in it, but you know, it'll be all right. Best to shred your own if you can.
You gotta have cheese though.
Yes,
you gotta have cheese on a taco.
She loves cheese on her tacos. If I gave her a taco and it didn't have cheese, she would be like, who is this meant for? Because you know it's not meant for me. There is that. And because I know how my lovely wife thinks,
I was gonna say the anticipation's killing me, baby.
I made a tomatillo salsa verde.
Ooh.
Now this right here, this tomatillo salsa verde, is going to go into the Patreon and YouTube members group. So if you guys would like to see this, this is the kind of recipe that I do for my band members. So this is a beautiful little salsa verde that we're gonna put over the top here.
Oh, yum. Mary Kay Wesling says, one time using pre-shredded cheese won't hurt.
Yeah, you know,
We're with you.
I totally agree with you. I'm sure there's someone on YouTube that's going to yell at me about it, but I'm okay with that. There you go to my beautiful, lovely bride to
Let's see if I can get my
give
hands.
us a taste test whenever you are ready, but take your time.
All good. All right, let's see if I can not drop the camera in the
You want me to hold it
slow
for you?
cooker. Yeah, that would be awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So there is all that pork, all the carnitas. There's the bite.
Oh my gosh.
Is it good?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
So I have to tell you guys a funny story about this recipe, by the way. I'm gonna set this back over there. I have to tell you guys a funny story about this recipe. The first time Ash ever had this recipe, she knew that I wanted to go out with her. And she did not want to go out with me. And I convinced her somehow or another to let me come over to the apartment that she and her brother had and cook dinner for her. I don't know how I convinced her of that, but I convinced her of that, and so I made carnitas. I went over there, I made carnitas. She was like, wow, these are incredible. And she was like, maybe I should let this guy come around again, at least once more if he'll make me carnitas. And then her brother came home and he tried the carnitas and he basically said, you can have my sister. That's totally fine. He negotiated that contract.
Yeah.
He's like, as long as you make me carnitas, you can have my sister. which Ash was like, do I get a say in this? And he was like, no, shut up. I want carnitas. So
I was basically sold for a plate of carnitas.
Yes, this is the recipe that convinced my wife to go ahead and give me a chance. So
yeah.
So I love doing carnitas this way. Has a very special place for both of us. So
I love to eat carnitas.
Yes.
So I was very happy when you said you were doing this. I'm a fan, man.
Yes, absolutely.
I will say too, as someone who is from California and has eaten more Mexican food probably than anything else.
Yeah, out of the back of taco trucks from people that probably don't have citizenship.
Right, absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
This batch of tortillas and using the dehydrator in the way that you did it, best batch of tortillas you've ever made.
Yeah.
I love the texture of your tortillas. It's hard for me not to imagine that that's not a tortilla.
Yeah.
Also, the way that you have your carnitas seasoned and the slow cooker, I mean, you are on point. Let me just say, I mean, yeah, you guys really should make this. It is
16 to
so
18
good.
hours in the slow cooker on low. Does a really great job.
I'm having a hard time not eating as I'm trying to film, but you're doing a great job. I'm just gonna, if the camera gets a little lopsided, I'm just diving in.
She's back behind the camera just with taco sticking sideways out of her mouth right now. She's enjoying. So how's that that salsa verde, by the way?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And
like
the guacamole.
Yeah, the guacamole cools it down even though it has a little bit of jalapeno in it, and then the salsa verde kind of heats it up. And
Oh yeah, it all just works together.
Yeah, the carnitas sits in between, and the cheese mellows everything out. And
I'm just so happy though that you came up with this tortilla recipe because loving Mexican food like I do,
very hard to go
not being
keto
able
or
to eat
carnivore
actual
without
tortillas.
it. Yep, I hear it.
Yeah, you've made this California girl very happy.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, guys, that's how we do the carnitas, and you can save so much money because these pork shoulders are so inexpensive per pound, and you can see how much food that makes. I also have a video that's going to be coming out in the future with something that would help you to make something like this meal prep and store it in your freezer. So I'm not going to say anything more about it than that, but you guys keep an eye out for a video coming soon that will be another one of those maybe kitchen gadgets you might want to invest in. It makes a huge difference. So, but it's really cool. You don't have to, but it's going to be a great video, and there will be a cool recipe to go along with it. So. Do we have any questions or anything anyone has to say before we sign off tonight?
You know, we have, I have to say, such a great comment section tonight. That people have had just great questions and have just been awesome. So there's a lot, but some that maybe we could address just super quick.
Yeah.
I saw someone get a little confused about the live streams that we do.
Yeah.
So we do this one every Tuesday.
Yep. We do this one every Tuesday. We do the Monday Morning Motivation live stream on the Studios channel every Monday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time in the morning.
Cool. And do you have that channel linked below by chance?
It should be. If it's not, I'm going to go back and double check when we're done, and I'm going to make sure that link is there, but they should be linked down below.
Perfect.
Yep.
Awesome.
So and if it's not, I will go back and change it as soon as this video is done uploading. So if you come check it like in a couple of days, that will be there. Or honestly, if you just go search Chris Cooking Nashville Studios, or you look on any of my recipe videos, it should be linked down there for you. So go over and subscribe to that channel if you haven't, because we're trying to grow that one so we can get the health information out to more people as well.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That happens on Monday mornings, and then on Wednesdays on Ash's YouTube channel, which is Ash Taylor Country, and it's got her big beautiful face right there on the profile picture. We do Ash Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time every Wednesday, and we play music.
We do. We play music, but I don't have carnitas in my live streams. I'm just saying.
No, there's no food in the live streams, but sometimes there are giveaways, there's special announcements about what we're doing. There's lots of the keto and carnivore people that have fallen in love with Ash's country music, and so they all find their way over there. So it's a lot of a crossover in the community. So it's a good time. We have a good time over there. So
no, it's always super fun. We always love tuning in. Honey, so many people are just saying how unbelievably delicious this all looks.
Well, I'm so glad you guys think
And I'm telling you what, it all looks really good. Tammy C says absolute torture. Lots of people I think would like to be here for dinner tonight.
I hear you. Well, guys, the front door is open. There's lots of food. Come on.
Yeah. Marcy Knapp says, "Aw, sweet story about your beginning. Thank you for sharing with us."
No, you're very welcome.
Annie B says, "Everyone, just let people eat things the way they want. It's not your body, so it's not affecting you at all. Love to you." Amen. Hallelujah.
Absolutely. We agree with you 100%.
The recovering lawyer says, "I really wish I had some of this right now."
I wish we could send you some right now.
It looks like your mom's watching.
Hey, Mom.
Says, "In your cookbook, you need to title these Love Carnitas."
Yes.
Yes.
It's a great idea. These will definitely go into the cookbook. If you guys didn't know, I am planning to do a cookbook. There's a lot of work that goes into that. I need to figure out, one, I need to write the thing. But 2, we need to get the recipes made so we can have a photographer take pictures for the book, and then I have to figure out how we self-publish and how we register everything, and then how we would distribute it. It's a whole process that I'm going to work to figure out, but we will be working on that, and hopefully sometime this next year we'll get that done.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be awesome. Debbie Saving says, I love catching you guys live when I can. It is the perfect time to ask questions while you're cooking. It is so helpful. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. We're very glad you're here, and we appreciate you stopping in.
And Barry Weems says, I just want the guac on your bread toasted. Oh, I bet
that would be
so
that would
good.
be very, very good.
So good.
Keto avocado toast. There you go.
Oh man, that would be delicious. And then Michelle Murphy says, you two rock together.
Oh, thank you, Michelle.
Cool. Honey, I think I got everyone's questions.
All
I
right.
think so.
Well, great. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I know we ran a little bit over tonight, but you know, those tortillas just took a little bit longer than what they sometimes do, but that's all right. We got a bunch of food to eat now, and it's exactly what we're going to do. All the links are down below, the Patreon, the YouTube. If you guys want that salsa verde, that's going to be coming out in the Patreon group and the YouTube members group soon. And if you have questions about anything, you can always find me at any of the social medias, the Chris Cooking Nashville website, any of that stuff. All of my recipe cards are always at info or at chriscookingnashville.com. You can email me with questions, info@chriscookingnashville.com. I hope you guys make these carnitas, and I hope you enjoy this recipe and you just have some fun, save yourself some money making this kind of tacos for yourself. And I love the Egg Life Wrap people as a company. I'm sure they're great people, but this is better. These tortillas are just better, in my opinion. So I hope you guys will go make the tortillas. That video is linked down below for you as well. If you have trouble with them, let me know. My Amazon link is down below, so if you click that, you can go buy whatever it is you want on Amazon, and it just helps support the channel a little bit with a small few pennies kind of commission. Does not change the price for you. Just helps us. If you click that and you buy something within 24 hours, we get credit for it. So it's a free way to help support the channel. We can't do this without you guys. We love and appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day and a great week, and we'll see you tomorrow night for Ash Wednesdays, as well as the video I have for the taste test dropping tomorrow.
Woo-hoo.
Yep. Thank you guys for watching. This is Chris Cooking Nashville, my beautiful wife back there, Ash Taylor behind the camera. Guys, eat your meat, especially when it saves you money, as carnitas and tacos. Love your life. We'll see you here in the kitchen for a bunch more live streams and cool recipes. Bye, guys.